trapezoid is a little bit of a tricky one, but it's good because it gives us practice for when the formulas get a little bit more complicated. So the trapezoid, look, so the trapezoid has two parallel sides. So these two sides, the two sides that are parallel are called the bases, and those are parallel. They will run forever and they never touch each other. And then the other two sides are not parallel, right? Like these two sides will eventually come and meet. So those are not the bases. And the height is the distance between the two bases. And again, the height has to be perpendicular to those two bases, all right? Now, let's draw kind of a traditional trapezoid like this. Okay, now if I want the area, look, and I'm going to darken, this is the area, the original area that I want. And what this formula does is it actually finds the mean, it finds the average of the two base lengths, right? This is a base plus base, and then divided by the number of bases, which is 2. So that's going to find the average length. Okay, so it's going to find the average length of this base and this base. And the reason is the rectangle that has the same area as this trapezoid is this rectangle. Right, like if I imagine that this piece gets cut off, it'll fill in this space. And if I imagine this piece with the dots gets cut off and fills this space, right, then what I have is a rectangle where I can just find the length times the width. Now, the width is the height, right? That's the height of the trapezoid. And what's this, and what's the length? The length is the average between this and this length, right? So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find the average of the two bases. Okay, so that's where the base plus base divided by 2 comes from. And then that's gonna be this length. And then I'm gonna multiply it by the height. And that's gonna be this, right? And then that's just gonna give me the area of this rectangle, which is the same as the area of the trapezoid, right? Because I could take this little piece and put it here, and this little piece and put it here. All right, so that's why it works. So let's take a look. This is the area of this trapezoid equals, okay, the two bases are 6 and 3. So I'm going to do 6 plus 3, okay, and it doesn't matter which one's base 1 and base 2. And then I'm going to divide that by 2, and then I'm going to multiply by 5. Okay, so let's do this math. So let's do 6 plus 3, and let's do it in 2 steps. You might find that you can do it in 1 step, but let's just write 2 steps for the example so that you have it in your notes. So 6 plus 3 is 9 divided by 2, right? That was this, 6 plus 3, 9 divided by 2. So that's 4.5 times 5. And again, let me actually just use parentheses because that dot looks like a decimal. So I'm going to do times 5. So area equals 22.5, and it's miles. This is square miles. Okay, right? So what that means is that this 4.5, right, that was this. Like if I take this and I made it into a rectangle, right, this length across is 4.5, right? So like right this, I didn't draw it perfectly, but this would fill in right here, or sorry, the other way. Right, this section of the trapezoid would come and fill in this spot, and this little tiny section of the trapezoid would come fill in this spot, and that would be a rectangle that was 4.5 by 5.